What's up everyone, welcome to my new Let's Play of the long-awaited, promised, very long-desired Zoids Infinity Fuzors. That's right, I'm finally doing another Zoids game per request. And this one is all in Japanese, so I won't be able to understand anything that's going on, so I greatly apologize, but it's going to take me a while to figure out this game really, so this first video is probably just going to be a demonstration of some of the gameplay. So I'm going to be playing the arcade mode. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing an arcade mode for every Zoid, or if I'm going to be doing the story mode, or what I'm really going to be doing for the main duration of the LP. A few of the words, as you can see here, are in English, but the words that are in Japanese kanji I cannot even translate because I'd have to go see what each and every character means, and that would just take too long. So we have our Zoid here. It's a command wolf. And that submenu I was looking at there is all the different weapon attachments and whatnot, which I currently do a whole lot with right now. This is our selection of other Zoids in the arcade mode. For those of you that don't know, the Zoids Infinity series is a series of Japanese arcade games, and this is technically the second game in the series, and it has this PS2 version of it. The third one in the series being Infinity EX is for the Xbox 360, and I plan on picking that one up as well, but one thing at a time here. So we've selected our Zoid, and we've selected our faction. We're fighting for the Republic again. And our first match is against another Command Wolf. Way to start us out with a mirror match there. So, the way this game plays, it plays similarly to Battle Legends in the sense that, of the way the missions are unlocked and whatnot, but the controls are completely different. Fiddly as hell on the PS2 if you're not used to it. It makes sense thinking about how you play it on an arcade machine, but makes absolutely no sense when you think about a PS2 controller. Triangle, X, circle, and square allow you to kind of sidestep, like dodge side to side sort of, in that direction that is allocated to that button, if that makes sense. Like circle will have you go to the right, square will have you go to the left, X will have you go back, and triangle will have you go forward. Which again makes sense if you're thinking about an arcade machine, but it's just really hard to get used to, and the shoulder button is not really used for much of anything. We do have a fire button though on the shoulder buttons. And our weapon here is a missile pod, and this first fight is actually really easy here. Our melee attack is actually really powerful, as you can see, but it has a long delay to charge again. But it seems like it's a lot more efficient in general combat than the one in Battle Legends, though. So, unlike in Battle Legends, though, Battle Legends had much larger encounters, and this one is strictly a one-on-one fight, fighting game style. And you can die pretty quickly, because obviously we're going to be matched against much more powerful Zoids after this fight, and we're going to be hopelessly outmatched from here on out. So it's up to our skills to be able to take down the Zoids from here on out, because they'll be much more powerful than us. So it makes sense for it only to be a one-on-one fight, so we're not fighting a Command Wolf against, 5 Iron Kongs and 3 Red Horns or some crap like that, like we did in Battle Legends. So as far as I know, we also have a 2 out of 3 best of, and you have a time limit as well. So it's much more like a fighting game. It's very, very arcade style, but there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe the story mode is a little bit different, but we'll see when we actually get into things. I'm not going to promise to be an expert at this game, much like I didn't with Battle Legends, but I ended up knowing a lot more about Battle Legends for my own good as I got further into the LP, as you guys remember. And Battle Legends was a game I could actually figure things out in because it was actually in English, meaning people who spoke my language have actually played it. Unlike this game, which is pretty much a mystery to all of us as far as I know. But the reason I chose this one is because it's on the PS2, and it was pretty much the only Japanese PS2 Zoids game that really fit my play style. There was one called Zoids Struggle, which was essentially, a 3D fighting game that actually played fighting game style, and that's definitely not my place to be playing. Then there's one called Zoids Tactics, which was basically the predecessor to Zoids Assault, but it was probably one of the most boring games I've ever seen somebody play when I looked up how the gameplay of it is. Like, you couldn't even see your units. They're just little icons that show images of like what the Zoid is. So yeah, boring to watch, and again, if I couldn't even get into Assault, I can't imagine getting into that game. I think there was one more Zoids PS2 game. Is it? Or that might be another GameCube game. Zoids Full Metal Crash. I think that's another GameCube game. But all the comparisons I'm going to be making are going to be the Battle Legends or Zoids Versus, as I should be calling it from now on to relate to the Japanese version. Our second fight here is up against a Red Horn. As you can see, I'm pretty sure with the, I've played with the Shield Liger a little bit too, and with the Shield Liger you could switch weapons. Even though I know we have multiple weapon slots, I can't seem to equip more than one weapon with the Command Wolf. But it's okay because this missile pod is pretty decent enough in itself and it homes in on enemies. It seems like they can take a little bit of damage while they're downed, but maybe not that much. Looking down at our HUD here, I can see there's a third weapon there in the center, but I'm not really sure how to use it. We also have our boosters, which come in very handy when we're trying to sneak in a good melee strike. But really, the most important part about combat in this game is your reflexes and your agility, being able to dodge enemy attacks, which is pretty important with this guy because he's got a missile pod like we do. He's also got some pretty powerful cannons up there, much like he did in Battle Legends, but if you sidestep the correct way, you can dodge all of his missiles at once. And those cannons also, this cannon's a little bit harder to dodge because they go in a straight line, so if they're already in your path, it's going to be hard to dodge them before they make contact. Oh, there's like a quick turn button right there I just used. I forgot about that. Like I said, controls fiddly as hell, so they're going to take me a long time to get used to. They're not bad, it's just not what you would expect from a game like this. So, but it's all good. The graphics are decent, but the frame rates are actually pretty spectacular compared to Battle Legends. But we're also dealing with a much less busy looking environment. Like, the environment looks really bland compared to Battle Legends, and there's not as much going on. Like, the movements were more dynamic with the Zoids in Battle Legends, and the quantity of enemies on screen was also much greater. But again, this is just essentially a watered down port of an arcade game. And we all know how much I love those. And we're going to be caring even less about the story in this game than we were in Battle Legends, because there is no way to understand it. There is no voice acting, even though it would be in Japanese if there was, and therefore I wouldn't be nearly as pissed off at it as I was about the voice acting of Battle Legends, and all the text is in kanji. So, how unfortunate. To everyone, this is kind of my my show of appreciation to everyone, to every single person who watched the Zoids Battle Legends LP and made it as successful as it was, because if you look at my other LPs, they don't have nearly the following and the views that the Battle Legends LP did. That LP did exceedingly well, and I thank each and every one of you Zoids fans out there that appreciated the hard work I put into it. Thank you guys so much. And this is what you guys get. You get more Zoids games out of it, so keep up the good work. If you guys like this one, I'll do Versus 3. If you like Versus 3, I'll do Infinity EX, and I'll just keep going from there until I run out of games that I can even tolerate. Because trust me, if you got me to the point where I was playing like Assault or Struggle, one of those, I'd be really sick of it at that point. I'd probably not be providing very good commentary. But yeah, it seemed like, you know, I was playing the games that I wanted to play, and everyone was like, more Zoids games, more Zoids games. So I'm like, alright, let's see what we got here. There should be some in Japan, and sure enough, there was, this was actually a lot cheaper than Versus 3, to be honest with you, as well. Versus 3 is can be like a $60 game right now, and it'd be a $60 game that would be dead weight until I figured out how to play a Japanese GameCube game. So I'll get back to you guys on that one. In the meantime, there is a good Zoids Versus 3 LP on the internet. It's by a female LPer. I can't remember her name for the life of me, but she's kind of playing it blind, which I don't particularly approve of, but it's a good LP nonetheless. If you just want to see gameplay footage of Versus 3, I highly recommend you check that out. Also, really, lately kind of been stuck in a rut when it comes to LPs. I'm not satisfied with the results of any of the ones I've made, except for the Battle Legends LP. I just think that the audience is just not there. And it's always discouraging because I put a lot of hard work in those, and so those were some of my favorite games. And when I have, you know, dozens and dozens of games that I'm playing for the explicit purpose of wanting to LP them, and I'm just thinking, if I can't do this with my favorite games, then why am I think I'm going to be successful with games that I don't particularly like as much, that are just kind of filler games, you know what I mean? So, I'm not opposed to going back and making more videos on existing LPs. Like, obviously I'm going to go back and do the Rage DLC. I might even go do the, I might even show off the pistol only run I was talking about with Rage, and I'll make more Battle Legends LP, or Battle Legends videos if you guys want to see a particular matchup with two particular Zoids. I will show that off if you guys are really begging to see it. So feel free to submit some suggestions if you want more Battle Legends videos. I'll definitely consider it here because I want to make sure you guys are getting the content that you enjoy. Alright, here comes the hardest fight so far in the game, the Genosaur, which, as we remember, is incredibly powerful. He just knocked out a good chunk of our health with his melee attack there. And he has like a 3 or 4 hit combo going on there. He is really tough. First, when I test played this little arcade tournament here, he beat me about 3 or 4 times. This is where I stopped. I think he's either the mid-boss or the final boss for... I think he's the mid-boss for this arcade tournament with the Command Wolf. It's not always the same opponents, I don't believe, depending on what Zoid you select, you know, kind of like any other fighting game, when you go into tournament mode or arcade mode, whatever you want to call it, depending on the game. But we got him down to about the same amount of health we have now. You can see there's a meter underneath our health that is our energy for our boost and our shield, whatever else we happen to have at that time. So, ooh, that was close. He about had me killed. But it's not over yet. We got a few more rounds to go. Like I said, Genosaur is very tough in this. He beat me about 2 or 3 times before I was able to really get this down. But I practiced enough, and I can definitely beat him this time around for the sake of the LP, so... yeah, let's show him what we can do here. Again, really, you just gotta... His cannon on his head there, wow, it took about 1/3 of our health away with one shot. That was ridiculously powerful. So, again, movement is critical here. You're going to go back and in the opposite direction. Ooh, he's got a charge particle beam, too. I'm going to go back and in the direction that is away from him, so you're going to have to get used to those keys again, because or those buttons again, because the analog stick is not your friend. The analog stick is going to rotate your Zoid. It's not going to actually, you know, it's going to rotate and move it back and forth. It's going to cause it to walk and rotate. It's not going to actually cause you to move in the direction you want to go in half the time. But this playstyle can be interesting and it can be a lot of fun, so I overall approve of it. It just has some getting used to.